In the last episode, we used the if statement for the first time, and we used it to check when these circles are touching the right border of the screen, and in that case make it jump to the left border of the screen. Let's find out a little bit more about the if statement. So let's open again the reference and find if down here. And it said here if test, then statements. And here it says that if the test evaluates to true, the statements enclosed within the block are executed. And if it evaluates to false, then the statements are not executed. So to find out a little bit more about that, let's use a new command, which is print. With print, we can just print a number, for example. And with the print command, nothing will happen on our display. We just see the result down here in the console, in this black area. So we can print numbers. We can do some math operations, for example. We can print text. When we type it inside quotes, we print hello. And in our case, what we are interested in was in this comparison. What happens when we type 10 greater than 5? Then it says it's true. The value of this statement is true. If we type 2 greater than 5, then it says it's false. So that's what it means with checking this, what's here written as test. So when we type if, then we type the same thing, 2 greater than 5, and then we put inside braces something like print hello. I forgot the parentheses. Hello, print, and then 2 is greater than 5, for example. It doesn't print anything. This false here comes from this line. Let's delete it. And you will see that now this program does not print anything. Why? Because this is false. 2 is not greater than 5. If I write 7 greater than 5, then I should also change it here to make it easier to understand. I can even write it as a word. So now it says, hello, 7 is greater than 5. So all the lines between these open curly braces and closed curly braces are executed only when this is true. But in a case like this, it doesn't make much sense, because we already know if 7 is greater than 5. So we could just as well just delete these lines and just print hello and say 7 is greater than 5. This will make exactly the same effect. The if statement is useful when we don't know if this statement is true or false. And when does that happen? Well, that happens like in the other day when we are using a variable. For example, if my number is greater than 5, and I should define here float, my number is whatever, 7. I should change also these, because maybe it's not 7. Maybe you type here 8, then it will say 7 is greater than 5, but it doesn't make much sense. I should write here the number is greater than 5. In the example we created the other day, this was interesting because this was the horizontal position and it was changing all the time. So only sometimes it was greater than the limit. Another way to use it, you know that I like to use random a lot, is, for example, like this. Now my number is a random number between 0 and 10. And we never know how much it's going to be here. Sometimes it will be greater than 5 and sometimes not. So these lines will be executed sometimes. We'll just print a hello. Now it doesn't say hello. Now it's upset with me. It doesn't say hello, but now it says hello. So right now it should print hello 50% of the times. This is like flipping a coin, because we are creating a number between 0 and 10, and if it's greater than 5, which is the half of 10, then half of the times it will be bigger and half it will be smaller. Let's see this working in last day's program. So here we have the program we created on the last episode with the 2 circles moving to the right. And let's add some randomness, as I just explained. For example, let's make that this small ball randomly becomes big, but just for a moment, and then it continues small. Sometimes it will be big. How can we do that? So here we have the slow circle, and this is the size, 50 and 50. Instead of having here 50-50, let's type slow circle size. And here again, otherwise it will not be a circle but an ellipse. And here I declare this variable, slow circle size is 50. So now this program does exactly the same as it did a moment ago, because I just created a variable. Here's 50, 50, so nothing has changed. But then I add an if statement with the curly braces, and here in the condition I say if random of 10 is greater than 5. So this means if this random number that is between 0 and 10 is greater than 5, it will be sometimes, and sometimes it will not be. In that case, make the slow circle size 60, for example, a little bit bigger. So now it's changing very frequently, but not all the time. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's big. What happens when I change this number? What if I make it 8? Because I have a random number between 0 and 10, now it's more rare. The bigger this number, the more rare it is. If you don't believe me, you can see now it's blinking a little bit less than before. Let's make it even bigger, 9. And the larger the number is, the more strange or rare is that the random number is bigger. If we would go for 9.9999, this will almost never happen, because most likely the random number is something smaller than that. If we just try with 9.9, see? now it's just rarely it's becoming bigger, but most of the time it's small. This is related to probability. We will experiment more with it in the future, and I don't hope you understand right now why these numbers make sense, but when we do a few examples you will start getting the feeling. See, now I put 9.95, and now it's very strange, very rare that it's large. So we have seen here how something that was fixed before, this was just 50-50, we replaced it with a variable, and we made that variable in such a way that can change randomly. Before, the program was, if I delete this random part, now the program is all the time running at the same size for this circle. It's all the time 50. But if I just add this random chance, and in that case I make it bigger, then we have an event happening only sometimes.